Samadhi Day, Naqsbandi Sheikh, Brij Mohan, 17th of January 1955. He entered into Samadhi. This is a moment when I would prefer to be in inner silence, but silence is not understood by the mind, and you are mind. So I have to speak something, take you into that moment when one enters into Samadhi knowingly and consciously. Also, what does it mean to explore the hidden snow-clad mountains of consciousness deep within? An awakened one is one who has discovered the snow-clad peaks of consciousness. He dwells there. To me, the Himalayan mountain range spiritually represents a profound connection to ancient wisdom, heightened consciousness, virgin snow-clad peaks of harmony and oneness, the blissful existence beyond duality and conflict, a place where the infinite acts as living source of enlightenment, a place where divine energy converges, making it a sacred place for deep meditation, living and dying. Realizing inner vastness and achieving spiritual transformation through struggle, not through shortcuts like drugs. To me, physical Himalayan mountain peaks symbolize a vast, unexplored inner territory, and that true spiritual discovery involves finding this Himalayas within oneself and dwelling in that pristine solace. Seek the inner Himalayas. I love the Himalayan mountain. It is the most precious moment to live and die in the solace that the mountain range provides. That is the most beautiful place to die, of course, to live as well. But as far as dying is concerned, that is the ultimate place. It is where Lao Tse died. In the valley of the Himalayan range, Buddha entered Samadhi. Jesus and Moses too died in Himalayas. No other mountain can claim that Moses, Jesus, Lao Tse, Buddha, Bodhidharma, Milarepa, Marpa, Naropa, Tilopa, and thousands of others have died there. To me, the physical Himalayas symbolizes a vast, unexplored inner territory, and that true spiritual discovery involves finding the Himalayas within oneself, and dwelling in that pristine solace. Seek the inner Himalayas. People are often explore the external world, climbing mountains, diving in the oceans, going to the moon, while neglecting the inner realm. The external exploration is a potential escape from the fear of going inward. External exploration gives you recognition. However, exploring the inner Himalayas, the ocean of the being, gives birth to you. The greatest mountain is within. The Himalayan range, with its snow-capped peaks of consciousness, these are the highest unreachable peaks available to man, yet it remains unexplored and unclimbed, and life is wasted in useless outer dimensions. The journey of self-discovery and enlightenment is presented as a more profound and arduous climb than any physical ascent. The ultimate silence is within, and once you explore that, life becomes a benediction. The ultimate Himalayan peak is within, waiting to be explored, and once explored, you can dwell there. Highest peak of consciousness. No one can remain 24 hours at the peak of love, at the peak of silence, at the peak of bliss, although we seek. Sitting somewhere in the Himalayan mountains, the silence that surrounds you is that of the mountain, not of you. You have to find your own Himalayan peaks within. Outer peace is not a substitute for inner silence and awareness, but an indication that you have to seek this within. The life of Brij Mohan was such an exploration of inner mountain, inner peak. His journey began with birth. Life, death, birth and death are two dimensions connected to each other through actions. Moment to moment action that one performs. It writes the script for birth, how the birth will be, how one will live the life during these two shores of birth and death, and how one will enter into birth, into death. The first experience came with his birth. Once it happened, there was something going on. Chachaji, his father, had no children. It was the belief of Hindus that if a couple makes a pilgrim to holy place in southern India, Rameshwaram, and prays there, the, the couple is blessed with a child. At that moment, suddenly Sheikh Maulana Fazl Ahmed Khan appeared at the residence of Lalaji. Seeing all this, he inquired, what is all this going on? When he came to know, Lalaji, with tears in his eyes, mentioned that my younger brother Nanne, as he used to call him lovingly, had no children, and their in-laws want to take the couple to Rameshwaram for prayers. At this, the Sheikh reached to a plane of consciousness, the harmony, the highest peak, and he loudly said, the God that is there is here also. His grace is not limited to any particular place or time. It is spread over the entire horizon. And he asked for some water in a metal cup. Metal is a conductor of energy, of electricity. He held the bowl with water in his hand, in two hands, and look at the water to energize it with a certain kind of energy. There is a Japanese scientist, his name is Tomato. It is now scientifically discovered water is a source of energy. You can communicate anything to it with great dedication and certitude. It is bound to happen. And after that, holding the bowl of water in his hands, looking at it as if trying to infuse the life energy into the water, asked that water to be given to the mother. In birth of an awakened one, there are few things important to understand. The preparation of the womb, the soul that is to enter the womb, the plane, the level, the consciousness of the parents, and the environment that surrounds the couple at the time of conception and during the period, the fetus remains and grows within mother's womb. The energy of the awakened one the energy that the awakened ones, here there were three: Lalaji, his younger brother, the father, the mother, and Sheikh Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan. Their combined energy created the womb, made all the arrangements for the birth of a consciousness. And when it was during the period of conception, there was a fear of miscarriage. Lalaji immediately sent the message through one of his trusted attendants. The distance between the place where Lalaji lived and where Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan lived was of 3 miles. He walked to reach to the Sheikh. On reaching, he handed over the message from Lalaji to the Sheikh. He read it and he responded immediately, when God has accepted the prayers of this humble servant, there will be no fear of any kind. I'll be blessed with this child. I name is Brij Mohan. That's how the soul was brought into the world. That the humanity came to know as Brij Mohan Lal, the Sheikh of the Naqsbandi Tariqat. He was still in his teens. He was born in 1998 and 1907. Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan entered Samadhi. Then his fellow disciple, Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan, who was a fellow disciple of Sheikh Ahmad Ali Khan, was still alive. It was the function in December of the annual gathering at the residence at the place of Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan that Lalaji, Chachaji and everyone had reached. One of this occasion, all of a sudden, Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan, Shah Abdul Ghani Khan, asked for Brij Mohan Lal. He came, he was a young boy, maybe 8 or 9 years of age. Abdul Ghani entered in the place with the cap, wearing the cap that was given to him at the time of his initiation. Brij Mohan Lal had a cap on his head. The Sheikh took off that cap and instead put his cap on his head. This was not a mere physical act. That is what we see. But what does it happen deep within? We see only, we have the eyes to see all that happens on the surface at physical plane. But what happens deep within is not within our understanding. Brij Mohan Lal, he became unconscious. In that state of unconscious, the eyelids move upward as if they have become still. No movements there. They remain in that state This caused worry amidst those who was present there. Lalaji, Chachaji, eldest Maulana Fazl Ahmad, Maulana Shah Abdul Ghani Khan said, Inshallah, he will not die. He is born to manifest a light from within. The Urdu word war इसकी ज़ात से एक आलम मुनव्वर होगा. Humanity shall enter into a new realm of light through his presence. And saying this, he went inside. After some time, he came into consciousness. This was the first experience of death. Conscious death. Meditation, deep meditation is an experience of conscious death, or what we can call orgasmic experience of oneness with existence. Thereafter, in 1949, his daughter, the only daughter, got married. Thereafter, he developed a strong feeling of renunciation. He was seeking the opportunity to enter into that Himalayan silence where no one can find him. That is why in the beginning I use symbolically the Himalayan mountains, where all of a sudden a mystic goes and disappears from the outer world. There he and the existence are in harmony with one another. No trace whatsoever. Many times he attempted this. To disappear either in the forest or in the mountain, they are symbols of this same dissolution. Whether you drown in a river, disappear in the river, or in the mountain or in the forest, is the same thing. When you reach the peak of your inner solace, inner solitude, you are in communion with. That is the only way to be in communion with that which is with existence. Nanak disappeared in river Bain for 3 days. And when he appeared from that, his first message was Ek Onkar Satnam. Whosoever disappears appears once again with the message from the existence. Many times it happened. He is aware of the moment has come for his final dissolution in the existence. Willingly he enters. Man is always afraid of death, so most of the time we die in sleep. Consciously entering into death is a blessing that one does not know. Consciously entering into an orgasmic state through whatever means is a blessing. And most of the time, when we enter into a communion between male and female, we enter this state unconsciously. Most of the time, this is how it happens. Every month, a magazine used to publish, which will have, besides the articles, the details of the trips of the Sheikh. 6th of January, he started his journey, the final journey, which culminated in his Samadhi on 17th of January 1955 from the city of Lucknow. There was a program for his journey to Mumbai, but not of the return. Nobody noticed at that time. When his consort Shakuntala Devi asked that she would like to accompany, at this he said, "You had already been to Mumbai once. Next time when we go to another place, she will accompany." He passed through the various cities. When he reached the city where his daughter was living, she asked him, "Let me accompany with you." At this, his response was, "You will go with me, who you will return with." It is a clear indication that he knew what is going to happen, but to whom he was speaking, they were all unconscious. They could not understand the words of the Master. To understand the words of the Master is not an easy thing. He speaks in a language which appears to be yours, but is giving you a message from the beyond, which can only be understood in eternal silence. On his way, many people gathered at the railway stations of the different cities, giving them the message, the silent message of his final journey. To someone he said, "On way back you will accompany us." That time, the person whom this was communed could not understand. 17th of January in the morning, he reached the city of Mumbai. In the evening, at 7:30, there was a meditation session. While the session was on, he was speaking on the message, what happened at the last moment during the war between Ram and Ravan. They were two poles of the energy. One is divine, the other is undivine. This is the scheme. You look at the movies, each movie has a villain and a hero. Villain is as important as the hero, because the whole story revolves around the interaction between the two, the villain and the hero. Ram was the hero who was here to establish righteousness, and Ravan was the opposite force. This is how it goes on. It has to be looked at the 2 feet which are necessary for walking. And it was the last moment. The soul of Ravan ready to dissolve, and it entered that of Ram. He said the soul of Ram was such a consciousness. This is the last message, that he forgot even his enemy, the so-called enemy that caused him so much pain. He forgave him. When you are ready to forgive your enemies for all that atrocities they have done to you, it is a moment of great benediction. It is a moment of great benediction. Always at such always at such moments when something is to be given, a message is to be given, there is a volume problem. Although I checked the systems, but yet still there remains. It is suggested that it is available. Yes, it is there. And he said with a flick of the finger, the soul of Ravan entered in that of Ram, and with that he did this, like this, and he rolled on the side where he was sitting. The process of his entry into consciousness in the ultimate existence began at that moment. It continued later on. After a little while, he came partially into consciousness. It was the first time for those people who have invited him to Mumbai. And so he said, give me some water with glucose and lime juice. It helps. And this is quite normal, nothing to worry about. Somewhere, all of a sudden, two mystics appeared from somewhere, from nowhere. They said they had been invited, they had been called for to be with this person. And they remained along with him in the room. It was a moment that when somebody is to enter into that state, there has to be someone who can guide through the intricacies of that. It may be necessary, it may not be. Sometimes it shows as one of the means when. So these two mystics came to assist him in the final transcendence of the soul, beyond the body and to the final merger. At around 4 a.m. in the morning, both came out chanting the mantra of Purna Samadhi, Om Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamiva Vashishyate. Means he has entered into Mahasamadhi. If he decides to come back on his own, which is rare, otherwise he should not be forced. Thus he entered into Mahasamadhi. 17th of January. That time there was no internet, no phone facility. There was no phone at the place in Lucknow. So a wire, a phone number was sent through the wire that Master is unconscious, call at this number. So my uncle, Sheikh Omkarnath, who went to the telephone exchange and made the call. Then the final arrangements were made for the body to be brought to Lucknow. And on 20th of January 1955, the body was cremated. So this month is very important for various reasons. 17th of January is the Samadhi day of Brij Mohan. 12th of January 1863, Vivekananda was born. And 19th of January 1990, Osho entered into Samadhi. This is a moment of benediction, moment of celebration, how one should live life, how one should enter into. And at this moment, what message has to be given? Not a formal ritualistic message, a formality like the birthday celebrations. It has to be a message of consciousness to be delivered. This process will continue. Tomorrow, when I'll speak on certain aspects of leaving the body in inner Himalayan solace, benediction. That's why I began with symbolism of Himalayan mountain peak. Then I will explain the events relating to events and how the soul of Buddha entered, the astral body of Buddha entered into Osho, and how he entered into Samadhi. Each event is unique, and it is a benediction and a moment of celebration for each one of us. Enough for now.